This is Henk. Today he visits Maastricht University because he was thinking about studying here. Henk heard that there is something special about this university and wants to find out more.
What does PBL stand for?
PBL stands for Problem-Based Learning and is the main educational method here in Maastricht University. It is opposed to conventional learning practices where only one teacher stands in front of a big group of passive students. PBL is characterized by active learning in small groups where an interesting real-life problem stands in the center of the learning process. This all happens in a tutorial group made up of 8 to 10 students. To organize the group process, we are using the 7 jump.
7 jump? What's that?
The 7 jump includes 7 steps which are used to create structure in the learning process. In each tutorial group, a new problem is presented in the form of text or pictures. After reading the text, everyone can ask questions about unknown terms or phrases. Next, the group has to agree upon a problem statement fitting the addressed issue. This could be a question that pops into your mind while you're busy with the problem. During the brainstorm, the ideas presented in a problem are collected and the students try to explain them with their prior knowledge and self-made experiences. In the 4th step, the results of the brainstorming are compared with the problem statement. You check what answers you have found for the problem and bring the notes into order. Then, you can use the gaps in your knowledge and questions that are still unanswered for the next step. Now, you formulate the questions into learning goals. They are meant to guide you through the jungle of information that you encountered during your self-study. Your self-study can take place at home or in the library. You've got 2 to 4 days for this step, but be aware, it is your own responsibility to find enough information to be well prepared for your next tutorial. Last, but not least, during the post-discussion, everyone will share their results with each other, and you check whether you have covered everything.
But when there are only students, so many things can go wrong. How do you make sure that the students stay on track?
To make sure that all students are staying on track, each group is supported by a tutor. He can either be an experienced student or a staff member. His responsibility is to support the process of the group discussion. For example, by keeping the students focused on important issues, helping with problems that cannot be solved by the students themselves, and making sure that the group understood everything. But remember, PBL is student-centered. The tutor stays in the background and only jumps in when necessary. The leading of the group is done by the students. Each time, a discussion leader and a scribe are appointed. As discussion leader, you'll have to structure the discussion, keep the learning goals in focus, and encourage all members to participate. It is also important to make sure that the key concepts of the problem have been covered. During the pre-discussion, one student has to take up the role as a scribe. He writes down the notes of the discussion on the whiteboard and clusters the information.
But why did the university choose this model?
Compared to conventional teaching, PBL offers a lot of advantages. First of all, it is a very active form of learning. You are the master of your own destiny. PBL keeps you motivated to fill in the gaps in your knowledge. The system promotes the elaboration process of memory, which implies a deeper level of learning and deeper processing of the information. Additionally, you learn in the context of an up-to-date and specific problem, thus making it easier to apply your newly learned knowledge to real life, and studies have shown that PBL students remember more in the long run. As a result of working together with a group, you'll gain important skills such as teamwork, cooperation, and communication skills. These skills provide a great base for your later career.
Well, that sounds alright, but does it really work like that?
That's a good point, Henk. As groups are not made out of machines, in practice, a few things can go wrong. There might be a lack of interaction if people are not listening to each other, holding back information, not asking questions, and repeating already said information. Sometimes happens that the research of students is superficial, and that leads to an inefficient post-discussion. Another possible problem is unequal participation in groups. On the one hand, you could have free riders, the ones who are just listening and profiting, and on the other, dominant students who don't listen to the opinions of others.
So is there anything I can do to improve the group work?
Of course there is. Here are some tips and tricks which will help you make the best of your study experience here at Maastricht University. As you already know, in Maastricht, it's all about you. Effective group work is only possible if everyone contributes equally. Self-study seriously and participate actively in the group discussions. Give constructive feedback and transfer given feedback into action.
Thank you for showing me around and explaining the PBL system.
Hi, and welcome to Team Synergy, a problem-based learning approach at CUNA Middle School. So, what is problem-based learning anyway? We call it PBL for short. In a PBL environment, we have students deal with real-world problems and questions, and we have them work together to solve those problems using their skills in English, history, math, and science, all at the same time. In a more traditional classroom, you might find students seated in orderly rows and one teacher at the front of the classroom giving out information. This happens 4 or 5 times a day, covering those core subjects as individual pockets of information. But does that provide students with the skills they need to be college and career ready? And does it provide them with the skills necessary to navigate the real world? In Synergy's PBL classroom, however, students will have the time to explore connections between those core areas by working in groups, sharing their knowledge, revising their work, meeting in committees, as well as time alone to focus on self-directed work. And the teacher's job is to facilitate discussion, provide feedback, and help students move through their projects. And Synergy students will have access to all 4 core teachers at the same time. But students are also individuals, and that's why Synergy has incorporated self-directed learning in a blended environment. In a blended learning environment, students lead themselves through curriculum and develop skills and understanding at their own pace. They share out their knowledge when they've completed specific tasks, and if they struggle with material, then they can cover it again. And they can do this at any time, as our self-directed materials will always be available online and can be accessed from school, home, or anywhere with an internet connection. Oh, and there is one more thing. Forget that we're teachers. Think of us more as mentors. Instead of standing at the front of the room, we'll spend time with each individual student in meetings where the focus is on goal setting, progress monitoring, and helping students identify what needs to be fixed in their skills and understandings. So you might be asking yourself, why? Why are they doing this? What's the point? And our answer is very simple, because kids are people too. The world is a great big place, and we want our students to be ready for it, because they deserve it. And that's what Team Synergy is all about.
Created using Powtoon.